Okay, here we go. Woo. Decided to turn the camera on just a couple minutes early. I gotta get used to that not mirror imaging thing. Just so I could get going on this. I have counted. Welcome everybody. I see I have a few people here already, which is lovely. I double checked my stitch count before getting on. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to wait for a few more people to come in. But I wanted to show you all how I'm doing on my stripe hype sweater as well. But since the camera is on, I'm going to start working on this. So last time, I'm only knitting on this when I'm on the lives. It's a ranunculus. It's because I'm known for all my help videos for this, right? So 2 months ago, I wound the yarn and just cast on, and that was it, because I was winding a whole good evening. Oh, from Germany. Wow, it's mid-afternoon here, but it's lovely to have you with us. As always, as you come in, let us know. Hi, Amy. Let us know where you're coming from. If you have a name that, like the person from Germany, it says Meg sign it. And if I don't know your name, I could just say welcome. We got Spain. Elke, and I hope I'm saying that right. And if I'm not, I'm sorry. But awesome. Good to have you with us. So Dawn. Awesome. Dawn is coming from Spain. That's fantastic. Let me know where you're coming from. I am in the mountains of North Carolina. It is looking gray and cold, but not it's not snowing here yet. Snowy Michigan. Oh, wow. That is okay. I'm trying to I don't think I need these lights on so bright. It's like super dark if I don't have them on, but I feel like can't see I have a nose. Okay. British Columbia. This is so cool. Rachel's coming in from Israel. Oh my gosh. Thank y'all for sharing where you're coming from, because this is just it's really, really neat. I'm totally playing with the lights here to see what I like. I like the soft, warm lights. El Paso. Awesome. So as I was saying, I'm only knitting on this when I'm here with y'all. And yes, this is, and that's okay, Amy. You don't have to be making a ranunculus too. You can just be hanging with me and seeing what I'm doing, right? So I wound it and cast it on a couple months ago. And last month I got through the ribbing and the increases. I just double checked my count. Long Island, New York. Awesome. Good to have everybody with us. As you come in, it's really great to hear, read where people are from and share that. British Columbia, Canada, just above 0 degrees Celsius. Oh my gosh. I haven't looked at what we are here, but let's see, because I don't have my watch on, which is usually how I tell. It is charging here. We're at 43 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know exactly how that goes to Celsius, but 32 is 0 Celsius. So Amy's doing a colorwork sweater for her friend, the Harvester. Again, I still have not finished my Harvester. I am wearing, by the way, I am wearing the Goldwing by Jennifer Steingass. I went to the fabric store today and had to wear one of my pretty sweaters. I'm trying to wear a different sweater every week from the ones I finished from my shop. And it's fun, I gotta say. Before I dive into this, because I'm about to do the short row section, Middle Tennessee, waiting for the sleet to start. Oh my gosh. We have someone who's doing the Christmas Gnome Advent mystery knit along. Those are always fun. So I did a lot of Viking gnomes one year, and that was really fun. So my cat totally tried to nestle into this, and I yelled at him and he ran away. Gotta show y'all. It's not done, but that's not what I'm working on during the live. So, but my stripe hype sweater with the Rambouillet, it is almost done. It is, if you see this bottom here, I have 28 rows of ribbing there. It is almost 4 inches. I think I'm going to do 30 rows of ribbing and call it quits, because I love this. and I want it to be long enough, but I also want it to be done. So once we're done with the live, I'm probably going to finish this. So the next event, the next filming I do for this channel, I'll be wearing this. Yes, the color choices, Amy King. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Cello working on the Feather and Fan cardigan. I'm sorry. Sometimes Feather and Fan can cause issues, and sometimes it goes smoothly. So, this is the Juniper Moon Farm Rambouillet, and it is so yummy and so soft, and I cannot wait to wear this. But I said I'd be knitting on my ranunculus with y'all. That was my challenge, but I'm happy to address questions or chat about what you're doing or tell you more about what I'm doing. But I'm on the short row page. And what I love about short rows is it really does shape it. It really does like let your sweater have a lower front than back. And I know there's been a whole debate over what are these guys doing behind me? I got the cats doing weird things. Okay. The ranunculus has short rows in the back and the front. And some people have chosen to only do them in the back. That's how sweaters usually are. Like this one, if you see where the color work is along the front here, I'm still having issues with that. I say this every time. This doesn't show me how the reverse image, what I'm used to seeing on Zoom. So I'm like, why isn't my hand moving? Oh, it's this hand that has to move. But if you follow this, see how it's all nice and level here. But then if you look at the back of this, you can see that the color work is a lot further down. I'll turn around again. And that's because there's short rows in the back with your contrast color, the orange on mine, before the color work starts to raise up the back. I know it probably doesn't look like, if I do this, the back is higher than the front, but it is. And it sits nicer on me because of that. I will say, before I move to the ranunculus, one of the reasons I love this sweater from Jennifer Steingass is it has this like almost mirror image thing happening where the detail work is happening in the main color. And then it switches right around here to where the detail color is in the contrast. And I did a whole thing on color dominance. I have a video on the tutorial channel for that. And let's see. Oh, you're talking about my videos for the ranunculus, I think. Yeah. So I'm about to do the short rows, which start with just going like, I'm going to knit 5 here. Short rows are literally, and I like my videos for those too, but short rows are kind of like the name implies, you're just doing a short row. So my beginning of round markers here, I know you're all seeing it kind of reverse, which is sometimes helpful, sometimes not. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once we do 5 and then turn. And I'm not trying to give away too much of the video, but of the pattern on this video, because I've got all the steps, but you need to have the pattern to finish this sweater, right? So, and then it says turn, and it says slip German short row, which is creating the German short row. My rule of thumb for any German short row is when after you turn it around, there's a few simple steps that will help the German short row be correct. So yeah, Deb's saying you have to brave to do. I have to have total concentration. I might get off on this. We'll see. Yeah, I pretty much like the Anyday sweatshirt has short rows for different reasons, but I really like how they shape things. I also like when a pattern writer has figured it out for me. I have people who sometimes say, well, I want to change this and do that. And how should I do this? And I am really good at following a pattern. And you think, well, but that's okay, Deb. I mean, I'm going to squirrel, right? That's what I do. I'm going to squirrel. So you would think because I've made this many sweaters, I would know how to adapt a sweater to make it work for me. But I know where I'm going with a pattern, and I know what's supposed to be happening, and it can help other people figure out where they are in a pattern and where they're going, but I am not necessarily so comfortable with shifting things from a pattern. So anyway, back to the general rule of thumb with short rows. The general rule of thumb with short rows is when you turn around to make your short row, your working yarn is then going to be on the left instead of on the right. And you want to make sure it's in front. By in front, I mean on the side facing you. So you make sure the yarn is in front. You slip the last stitch worked, which will be the end stitch on the left. I'll do this with you all, or like in front of you all so you can see it. You slip that stitch back over to the right. You yank, you pull the yarn and everything under it up over your right needle. And then you get ready to do your next row. And it's different on a purl side than on a knit side what you need to do. But if you follow those instructions, we all have some. Amy saying you have so many projects and never enough time is true. If you follow those guidelines, it'll walk you through the different things you have to do on either side. And what I mean by that is I just turned from a right side to a wrong side. So I was knitting and it said to turn. So I have the wrong side of the fabric facing me right now. I mean, everything looks like a hot mess right now, right? But what that means is because I was knitting, like if I turn it back around, when you're knitting, your yarn's in back. So when you turn, your yarn is already in front. It's facing you. Step one is done. Make sure your yarn's in front, facing you, on the side closer to you. So then I'm going to slip. It's always purl-wise. It's always like knit-wise, you'd have to move your needle. You want to just stick. You don't want to move and come at it. You want to just stick your needle straight in so it's not twisting the stitch, and slide it over to the right. And then I'm going to yank it up and over the needle. And Amy's asking if people enjoy short rows. So I yanked it up and over the needle, and then I have to get ready to work back. And if I look at my row, I have to purl. So that means I need the yarn in front again, but I don't want to let go of all that work to yank stuff up over the needles. I bring it back between the needles to the front. Now that may or may not have been visible, but don't worry, I'm going to do this a bunch more times. So I love German short rows for when I am doing stockinette knitting like this. When I'm doing garter where I'm knitting all the rows and there's lots of bumpy texture, I do a wrap and turn and leave it like on the Papillon. But on this, so I have this crisscrossy weirdness right there. And since I'm doing fingering weight, not all of this might be visible. But if I follow the instructions, I'm going to purl 4, which should take me back to the marker. I'm going to give it an extra little yank to make sure this weird crissy-crossy, which is what's going to hide the hole later, make sure it's nice and tight. And I'm going to go 1, 2, I'm purling my 4, 3, 4. And again, as more people are joining us, if you want to share where you're joining us from, we already have several continents or countries represented, which is really cool, and states inside the US. My 4 takes me back to the marker. What I like about her instructions on the ranunculus, so I slipped my marker. What I like about, for a couple of uses, Trescello says, what I like about the ranunculus is that she's written out every time, like some patterns will say, knit to the next short row and work the short row and then purl back to the next short row. She lets you know when you should be at the marker. So you really need to stay on track. You can stay on track, right? Yes. So Deb is saying she likes the ones that, like this one, that tell you when you're back at the beginning of round. So, excuse me, allergies. Okay. So I purled 4, I slipped my marker. I'm going to purl 5. And the other thing that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is very typical of short rows is we're starting at the center and we went 5 this way. We knit, we turned around, went back to the center. We purled 5 the other way. So it's balanced and we're going, and so now I've gone 5 one way. Now I've gone 5 the other. It's a total of 10 if we want to do math, but you know. So again, it says to purl 5, pass the marker and turn. So when I do this, my yarn is not in the front. It's closer to you guys. It needs, so again, following the rules, I want to bring the yarn between the needles. So it's in front before I do anything else. So now it's in front. Then I want to slip the last stitch worked, which is the end stitch on the left, over to the right. And then I want to, I'm trying to, so you can see some of it, yank it up and over the right needle and get ready to work back. And since I'm going to do a knit row, I don't have to do anything. I just have to hold it there so I can knit back. And let's see, knitting 4 should take me to the marker. So on one side, you're doing a lot of movement to prep for the short row, and then you're doing very little afterwards. And on the other side, you are doing very little prep work, but then you have to move the yarn after you pull to write it. And so it's just following those guidelines is how I remember how to do a short row. So I don't have the short row instructions in front of me. I just have the instructions of what each row is supposed to be. So I did my knit 4. I'm at the marker. Knitting 4 more takes me to the German short row. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm at, there's 2 ways to tell I'm at the short row. I'm trying to hold this up. I have this weird gobbledygook thing. Like if I tilt it, there's a little X there. It's really hard to show on camera. This is why I like my videos where I can have the camera above me, right? Live is very different. But I'm going to treat it like they often call this a double stitch because it looks like there's 2. See right under my finger? It looks like there are 2 strands there and the X crissy-crossy. And so if you treat it like a knit 2 together, you get your needle over, and I can't really, you get your needle like you're knitting through the center of it, I call it. And some people get confused by that, but we really want to, I'm going to turn this around for a second. When I have it all ready to go, I can see that X and my needle's gone through like I'm going to knit the 2 together. So Amy's saying she's glad she has my ranunculus videos when she goes back. I have gone back and looked at my own videos to help me with things on the ranunculus once in a while. So there you go. Okay, so I did my German short row. I worked it, knitting a German short row. Oftentimes they'll call it knitting a double stitch. She doesn't. But then I'm going to go 3 past it. 2, 3. Remember, these instructions are the same for every size. So, and then it says to turn the work around. Now, if I'm just letting the yarn be where it wants to be, my yarn is on my side. So it's already in front. And to create a short row here, the first thing is make sure the yarn's in front. And if not, get it between the needles to the front. It already is. Slip the last stitch over to the right without twisting it. Yank it up and over the needle, the right needle. And then I'm going to have to purl. So I need to bring it between the needles to the front while keeping that yanking, the thing I yanked over, in place. All right. So then it should be 7 stitches to get me back. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is so loose because it's fingering weight, but that's what I love about it. It's going to have such beautiful drape. 6, 7. Okay, I'm back at the short row. The short row. I am going to mess up. Amy's like, and Deb was like, I can't believe you're doing this while you're talking to us. And that means my words are going to go sideways. But so I called this a short row when it's my stitch marker, but it's life. Okay. So, I've had a lot of people say, wait, my stitch count isn't working out for the front when they go to the front short rows. And I think most times when people have asked me why that might be happening, they missed the increase row. So they weren't at 90 stitches when they did this. They were still at 60. And so check that before you do your short rows. So, she's doing her 4th ranunculus. That's awesome. Oh, that's wonderful that you like. It's really easy to get mistakes in the chart when you get to the lace flowers. I'm going to try to keep going with this. I'm going to purl 4, which is going to take me to the short row on the purl side. It's hard to, like, I tried in those videos to say, here's things that you might think is wrong, but it's not. But I find even if that gets off, it still looks pretty. If people don't know they're looking for the lace flowers, they'll just see pretty patterning and they'll still think it's a beautiful sweater. And it is still a beautiful sweater. So I'm at my short row on the purl side, which you can sometimes spot your short rows because the stitch will look weird and there's kind of a gap after it. Although when it's this lacy, sometimes that's hard to see. But the purl, you're doing the same thing where you're trying to get under 2 strands in front and 2 strands in back, almost treating it like a purl 2 together, but the 2 strands are twisted. And that's on purpose. So I've purled those together. And if the pattern continues, then we're going to purl 3 more. Yep. 2, 3. And we're going to turn around. All right. So again, this is going to get real boring and repetitive after a while, but my yarn is on your side. My yarn's in the back. I got to make sure it's in front. So I'm going to move it between the needles. I'm going to slip the last stitch over to the right needle. I'm going to yank it with the fabric underneath it, stitch underneath it, basically up and over the needle, and get ready to keep going. And it's a knit row, so I'm just going to knit. And it tells me, and some people will do that and they'll knit the first stitch and then start counting. But that stitch you just knitted to keep everything in place counts as one of your stitches. So let me see. I'm assuming I have to go 7 back to, again, mirror imaging. These numbers will repeat themselves on the knit and the purl sides. So, well, I'm glad my videos are helping, but also the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. Like each one helps with the next one. And some people will only do one, and that's glorious too. That's really wonderful. This is, let's see, I've counted them before and I don't remember, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've made 5. Someone tell me if I'm missing one. This might be my 6th, I think. But I might be missing one. I can't remember. Okay. But okay. So I just knit 7 back. I'm on row 5, slip my marker. If I knit 7 more, that should get me to the short row I just made. 3, 4, 5. I'm really hoping to get, and yes, the next one is a weird one right there. And I'm going to knit through the center where it feels like I have 2 strands on either side of my cross needles with an X in the center. And I'm going to knit this one. I hope to get to the other fun stuff and not just be talking about short rows for an hour. But let's see. And we're adding 3 every time. 1, 2. Sometimes, yes, counting while I'm doing that can make it weird. But the other way I can check is I can look at the next row and say, how many am I going back? I should have 1 more than that because the last one is going to become my short row. So I'm not sure if I did it right or not. So I should have 10. I should have 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have 1 more stitch to go. 11, because then I turn. Make sure the yarn's in front. It is. Don't have to move anything. Slip over purlwise, yank over the needle. And if this is going too fast, then go watch my videos after this. And then yarn has to come to the front holding that yank so I can purl. And this 10 should take me back to the front. So whoops, almost wrapped it twice with the fabric there. I'm really hoping this will be a fun, like, just not a color I usually make, but I'm trying to, like, the sweater I'm wearing, I get so many compliments on it. And I wasn't gonna, like, these aren't colors I would normally pick. The teal, yes, I love teal. I love this color. The orange, and I actually picked the orange on purpose because I really wanted to use a color I don't normally use. I want to push my comfort zone. That's mostly because I own the shop. It's when people come into the shop, like I want to make sure I have all the different colors represented. When people come into the shop and they don't want to be pushed out of their comfort zone, we don't. We say, do what makes you happy, but sometimes you'll be surprised by what you find, by what you notice or don't, or by what you try that may not be in your comfort zone. So, okay, purling 7 to 4 should take me 6, 7 to the funky short row. I'm going to purl through the center of it, 2 strands before and behind, and then I'm going to purl 3 more. I would love to do all of this really slowly with y'all, but I also want to keep y'all entertained a little bit. So I'm going to turn around. So I want to get to another part. So got to make sure the yarn's in front, and it's not. So I have to bring it there, because the short row really doesn't work if you don't have your yarn in front before you slip, which happens when you turn to the knit side. You need to bring it to the front. Slip it over to the right and lift it up and over. If the yarn wasn't already in front and you just slipped and then did a yarn over, sometimes it's written that way, you don't have this pull that you can hide later. You have a slip stitch and a yarn over, and it doesn't look right later. So, all right, I am knitting 10. So I'm on row 7. I'm almost done with the back ones. That's great. Okay, so 10. We go out to 16. And then 3 more eventually too. So, or no, I think it's 16 on both sides. This is what happens when I try to talk and knit and read and stuff. So I'm gonna knit the 10. That means if I knit 10 more, then I'm gonna go to the short row on this side. I am going to do the front short rows. I often, some people are like, I don't want to do the front short rows. And I like following the pattern as is. When I make alterations to it, I like to make alterations to other parts of it. I mean, I suppose I could skip the front short rows, and some people don't like how high up it is, but I feel like the neck is so wide, especially when you're on thinner yarn, that I don't really want it to drop down too far, because I don't know. I'm a fan of following this part of the pattern pretty much as is. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could just go by where the short row is, but I'm trying to count to 10. There's my wonky one that I'm gonna knit through the center, and then do 3 more. 1, 2. There's a rhythm to this if you know what it is. But I'm also double checking the pattern too. So I turned around, my yarn's in back already. So I just get to slip, yank up and over, and bring it forward to purl. And now I get to purl 13, right? Yeah, 13 back. So the knit row balances. The purl row, I got to kind of catch up. Yeah, so Deb's saying there's reasons. I mean, but I've told people, if you don't want to do them, don't do them. You know, you don't have to. It's all good. So I'm doing my 13 back. I like, and the front ones, you're not doing them as, or like they're a different number. Like the back ones, you start at 5 and you're adding 3. So, and then the front ones, you're starting, let's see, you start with the 5 off of the front center, but then you're adding like 5 each time. So they're wider. There aren't as many, and they're spaced out more. So there's it's a different fit for the front. You can still tell the front from the back if you're paying attention. But I still have to leave like my working yarn hanging down so I can tell the front from the back sometimes a little more easily. Yeah, I should check that and think about that a little more, Deb, what you're saying. That's really cool. So, okay. I'm on row 8, so I'm purling 10. And my 10 will take me, and sometimes on the purl row, the last one really wants to hide. It's hard to tell the short row away from the regular stitches. So sometimes that's why counting helps. So I just worked that one, and I'm going to go 3 more. And then I'm going to turn around. And again, only going 3 more. These are shallower short rows. We do more of them, so there's more material right in the center of the back. And the ones in the front are going to be wider. So again, my yarn's not in back. I need to make sure my yarn isn't back. I need to make sure it's in front before I slide it over. That's the only way I can yank it over the needle and make it work. I'm going to knit 13 to the center, and then I'm going to knit 13 out the other way. Oh yes, I have someone. Yeah, Tristicello saying she puts a little contrast color because she often can't tell. We have stitch markers in the shop. Hang on, I didn't super tighten these, so they're coming unscrewed. So I'm going to stop and just tighten this up a little bit. Yes, I didn't use my gripper or my little tightening pin, so it's my fault. Threading some contrast color. We have some really cute little stitch. We might have the labels at the shop. We might have already sold out of them that say, this is not the front or this is the back. I think it, or just says not the front. I love that. I love that. Instead of putting one that says this is the back, this is not the front. I think it's adorable. Yay! Xenia made it. And Xenia, I've been meaning to get back to your emails, and I am so sorry about that. Life has just been insane. We're glad you made it to a live. That's wonderful. Okay, so I am knitting my 13 on this side, which means I am on row 9. I'm almost done with my back ones. So, yeah, I leave the cast on tail hanging. I weave it in and then leave like a good inch or two hanging down inside so maybe I can see it. And that helps a lot. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I didn't think I'd made it to it yet, but I was like, I don't know about her count. 13, I'm going to, I already knit through the center on that. And 1, 2, 3. So the other side, I'm going to get wider than 16 stitches away, but I'm going to do it faster. So I'm turning around, yarn's already on the correct side. So I can just slip it over, yank it up and over and purl back. And can you see that my short rows back here, I have no material, like the front, if I try to pull this around, the front, I'm only at the ribbing, but this is what the short rows have done to the back. I've got all this material only in the center of the back. And since I'm on my 16-inch needles, you can't see much. But see, that's the front. Front has nothing on it. And the back already has a good amount of material, which is really great. Okay, so row 10, I'm purling my 16 to the marker. And honestly, I'm just trusting that my 16 is where the marker is, and I'm kind of counting from the marker. But if you're not sure, count every single thing. We like to joke at the shop that when you put yarn in someone's hands, they forget how to count. And it's very true. So sometimes you have to double, triple check. So I'm going to purl 13 and finish this off so I can get to the front short rows. And like I said, this is where people do this and then they do the next row that's supposed to take them to the center of the front, because these short rows are not adding stitches or taking away stitches. When you knit 2 together or purl 2 together, you're going through the middle of the crazy short row you made. It's not adding or taking away. It's just adding a funky fabricy stitch in there. So here's my thick double stitch, they call it, and I just purled it, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And every time you turn around in the middle of a row like this, we have to do something to hide. Like if I just started knitting without doing a short row, there'd be a hole here. But if I move the yarn to the front, slip the last stitch over and yank it up and over, and then do what I need to on the other end, that is what is going to keep it from looking like it's got big gaps there. So, okay, so I am knitting my 16 on row 11 because I'm about to go to the front side. This is where if you didn't want short rows in the front, you would get to the end of round marker or beginning of round marker. She calls it end of round marker. And you would just, you would move on to, let's see, like round 2 of the next section, because you've already done it and you are going to just jump, maybe do one more row all the way around before you jump into the next part. But I'm going to do these because you know, this already went pretty well. I'm only at 3:30. It only took me half an hour to chat with y'all and do the back short rows. So I'm at my end of round marker. And if I hold that up, you can see the material in there. I know the tonality of it kind of throws it off a little bit. I have a cord here. I did a gauge swatch for, I want to make another reluctant homeschooler. And I did this is not a full gauge swatch, but I started a gauge swatch on a longer cord. So as we increase, I do have a longer cord I can switch to, but I'm going to have to put the needle tips on that are an 11 and 8 millimeter. All right. So I'm squirreling. Have you noticed? All right. So, I am going to knit 16 to my short row that I have to resolve, they like to call it sometimes. And then I'm knitting 28 and I'm placing a marker for the center front. And here's a little cheat sheet on that is the 16 and 1 and 28 is I believe it should be 45 to get to the center of the front. So if you're worried about your stitch count or that your center is not of the front is not in your center, that's what I like to tell people to count from your halfway point. If you've done your increases is at 45 because you have 90 stitches. So again, lots of math, but if you do it all, you'll be on track. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I'm at, and I am at my funky stitch that I'm going to resolve. I'm knitting a Misurina in your color gold. So you've got the golden gray going on. It's a pretty color. It's not for everybody, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm definitely not going to be able to count to 28 while I'm talking. So I'm going to stop and go and stop and go. And oh, good. Deb just got yarn from us. Woohoo. For US shoppers, because our system isn't set to ship overseas, we have to work out shipping with overseas people. So we can't just like have you buy something and then figure out shipping. You got to call us and work it out. But for US people, we are doing a Cyber Monday sale right now. And it's Cyber 2525. So CYBER 2525 saves you 25% in the online shop. Overseas, we need to work up a quote for shipping because we only do, oh, awesome. You got some Inca. We only do, the USPS, which then becomes whatever it is internationally. Well, actually, what we do, if you want stuff overseas, we do it on a case-by-case basis. We use we use Pirate Ship is an online resource where we can find out the cheapest option available to send something to you. And we tell you the quote and what the total will be. And if you decide you want it, we can send you a PayPal request for it. So if you're watching this today live and you live overseas and would like yarn from us, email me. I'll put it in the chat here. And we'll see. We could even give you a discount. We can't give you a discount on the shipping, but we would do on a case by case basis where you would be able to say, nope, I think the shipping's too much. But that's the only way we can do it because we can't do $5 shipping. And I'm trying to artandfiber.com. Okay. We can't just say, oh yeah, $5 or $10 shipping. Cause then sometimes even to Canada, it's like $20 or $30. And we can't eat that much of a shipping cost. But if you're willing, if I work out a quote and you're willing to take that risk on, because we also can't necessarily always track it, then we'll work with you and send you a PayPal request. But it's not as easy as just buying something in our online shop. But US customers can save 25% today with the Cyber Monday sale. Overseas people watching today, If you email us today and say, I'm interested in these things, I won't get the email probably till tomorrow. But if I see a timestamp on it from today, I can work up a quote with that 25% discount on the merchandise and then find out what shipping is. And if you say, yes, let's do that, it might take a good chunk of this week to do that, right? Or not right, but that's what I'm telling you. And if you want to try that, we can. But again, we don't do it very often. And honestly, often the shipping is really expensive for people. So they're like, yeah, I didn't think it would be that much. Never mind. And, I get it. So, all right. I just started knitting without counting. So now I'm going to double check and see if I can find my 45 stitches. So I got to count for 1 second. Hang on. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 37. Okay, let me just get to 45. 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Okay, the rest should be much easier. I should be halfway. So we can see in the back here, I have all this fabric back here. And in the front, don't have anything yet. Deb's trying to help out the channel. She's like, give it a thumbs up. We got 14 thumbs up. That's fantastic. Anyone who can give it a thumbs up can do anything they can to help expose us to more people, right? That's just kind of fun. Okay, I have 2 different. I'm gonna put this big honkin' stitch marker in the front. And then I'm going to do the short rows in the front. So I got my center front marked with the yellow. It's going to be kind of hard to see for people at home, but it starts just the same. I'm doing the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is a lot easier to count than 28. But I'm going to turn around. At this point, I'm just, yarn's already in front. Don't have to move it. I just want to slip. Last stitch to the right, yank up and over. And I need to purl now, so I need to bring it between the needles to the front so that I can go back the other way. So 1, 2, getting ahead of myself, but 4, because remember the 5th stitch becomes the short row. And Pamela is on her 6th ranunculus and is red and will be for Christmas. Oh, that's cool. And she's in Maine. Lovely. Oh, and someone else, Chesacello, is like, thanks for reminding me to give it a thumbs up. I don't know how half this stuff works. I feel like some of y'all watch a lot more YouTube than I do. So if this all, listen to Deb. She's been lovely and she's been very supportive of the shop and our channels and everything. And all of it's really wonderful. So, okay, so I get to purl 5 right now. So here's where it starts to shift. That's 3, 4, 5. Here's where it starts to shift from the back short rows. So this is the same as the back, where I got to move my yarn to the front before I slip and then yank it up and over. And I'm going to go back, going to do my 4 to the center front. And then it wants me to knit 4 to get back to the short row I made in the front. And I'm going to work this by going through the center. But now on the back, I only knit 3. On the front, it wants me to knit 5 more. So this is what makes it shallower, is I'm going further out before I turn around. And I just lost count. But I should have 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, I believe. Yes, I should have 10 from the center, because when I turn around and I slip and do my Yankee bit and come to the front to purl, it wants me to purl 9. The 10th one became my funky stitch. Ooh, stained glass socks. I don't know what yarn is used for those stained glass socks. But yeah, sometimes to get the best contrast, like the same colors they used are best. Like we have some good color changing yarn, but it may not be light enough, right? So, okay, I'm back to the the marker in the front, and I get to purl 4. I'm going to balance out to the other side. I'm going to work the short row, and I'm going to purl 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will say, I think I've become a faster knitter since the shop. I mean, been knitting more regularly for 8 years now. You'd think I'd get faster, but it's not about getting faster. I do think I have gotten faster. Like I notice I, again, bringing my yarn to the front, slip, yank it over. Without my noticing it, I think I've become a faster knitter just because I'm doing it more often. But it's not necessarily about like the enjoyment of it for some people might be because they're getting faster. But for other people, like the enjoyment of making something is not about how fast it comes off your needle. Sometimes that's stressful. So I don't know. I'm a real big fan. It's hard to explain this to someone who just wants to get faster. I'm a real big fan of it takes as long as it takes. And I've had people say, well, you have so many projects on needles. Like, isn't that a waste? Or is, it could be serving a different purpose, or if it's finished, that's when it helps the shop. I find like even this is helping the shop and is helping me, even if I'm not just sitting down and doing it like all the time. It's something I'm returning to once a month. This is going to take me forever to finish probably, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I feel like working on this with y'all and doing my morning meditations when things are in progress, as long as they don't sit over there in a pile and I never touch them again, which does happen sometimes, I feel like it's not a waste. So, and then I have the bad luck. Okay, I'm back to this row. This was my 9, do the short row. And I'm doing 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I have the bad luck that half the samples I've made, not this one, luckily we still have these colors, but half the samples I've made, the yarn color or the entire yarn gets discontinued. And sometimes I'm not even done with the sample. And then it's like, well, what do I do now? Then it becomes a personal project, right? So what do I missed over here? My actual ranunculus is red too, and for Christmas too, and for my sister. Oh, I love it. I love all the holiday and the red, and the Liz would love red, dark and broody. It's nice. And you got a burgundy one. That's awesome. My first one was burgundy. It was with the Alba in the kilt color, which I think has been discontinued. No, maybe the kilt color hasn't been discontinued. Some other colors have. Anyway, I digress. Okay, so I just did, let's see, I get to make a short row, and I get to take 14 back to the center marker, and I'm almost done with my front short rows. I told you they were going to be faster, and they were going to be, and we can take a look at them, compare them to each other when I'm done. I told y'all they were going to be faster and shallower. So 14 takes me back. I have to be careful trying to do this rather quickly with thinner yarn, not to accidentally put my needle too low on these purl stitches to the row underneath. So a snowflake vest in burgundy and white. Oh, that sounds gorgeous. Okay, so talking about way too many works in progress. Liz loves to mention how many works in progress she has to make people feel better. And I sometimes find it makes people feel a little overwhelmed. Here's my short row, by the way, after my 9. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I took the sheet out of this room, but I have, counting this one, I have 17 sweaters on needles. I have, when I did the show, I have 34, but I think I missed at least one project at the shop. So I have at least 35 projects on needles. This one is almost done, which is lovely, but I really want to start A Reluctant Homeschooler by Caitlin Hunter to have a thick and fuzzy cardigan, which means it's going to go right back up to 17. Just cause. But doing this on a size 11 needle, I feel like it might get done fast unless I get sidetracked. So, okay. I just turned around. I'm on row 17. Make a short row. Oops, I'm knitting, so I don't have to bring it all the way to the front. I'm going to knit 14. I'm going to slip the center front marker. I think I get to take it out on the next row. But I'd like to show you all how they compare. Because, and this is where it's like there's a lot of like short row, what is going on? Because you're resolving short rows from the front and from the back. So here, my yellow one is my beginning, no, words. My yellow one is my center of my front. So if I knit 14 here, 2, 4, 5, 6, you guys just get to hear me count a lot this time. And everybody's way too many number. Like when Liz says, well, I have over 200 on needles to make people feel better. That doesn't always make everyone feel better, but it's like, it's relative. For some people, 3 projects could be way too many. And I understand that. I totally get that. And there's everything that's okay. I'm at my short row. So I've done my 14. I'm working my short row. And then 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, there's a funky short row there. And that's the one from the last time I made a short row on the back. I know it's like, why would there be a short row there? It's because we haven't resolved them all the way around. We turned around and went forward. Like we went from the back, we did all this, and we stopped over here and we turned around and went forward and did all this. And now we're still going forward and we're hitting one from the back. My drawings do that better than my hands just did, but you know, you've got 5 projects you want to finish by Christmas. I completely understand and relate to that. I have 6 projects total to make for Christmas. I'm sewing, and 2 of them are pretty much done. So I still have 4 more to go. And I picked sewing because it may not take as long, but it's really hard to have the energy. It's not something I can work on at the shop. So, and this says, don't turn when I get to the end of round marker, which I'm about to get to. At this point, I'm not really stressed about my stitch count because I know I didn't add or subtract any stitches. So I'm at my end of round marker. I'm just going to do one more to lock it in place just to show you all the difference. But I know I'm squirreling a lot this hour, but since it's only an hour, and I may go a little longer than 4, because I want to reach a good stopping point with this. But everybody's got a different too many projects, and especially too many projects before Christmas. Like I've had too many years where I start knitting after Thanksgiving, and then it's this mad rush, and I'm knitting on the plane, and I'm stressed, and it's like 1 project, 2 projects could be too many for some people, and that's okay. And 50 projects, like for Liz, 200 projects doesn't bother her, and that's okay too. Everyone's got to decide what's best for them. Okay, so this is what's happening around my green marker, which is the back. That's how much I have on the back. And then I'm trying to move this so I don't lose stitches, but you can see what's happening. This is the front. So the front, and let me measure this. The amount of material from the ribbing to the needle in the front is, on my needles, is about 1.25 inches. In centimeters, let's see, that is 3.5 centimeters. And in the back, because we did more rows that were shallower, that creates more depth in the very center. Let's start with the centimeters because I'm on that side. I have about 5 centimeters of depth in the back. Oh, Donna from Alaska. Hi from Alaska. Oh, it's great to have you here. Awesome. In the back, I've got a good 2, maybe 2 1/4. So it's an extra inch in the back from doing these short rows, the distance away. And then if you look at the side, there's some spots on the side here where it's still, there's not much material at all. We've got more material. It's good to have everybody here. We have so many states and countries and time zones represented. It's really, really fun. That always just like blows my mind. It's wonderful. It's really wonderful. So, okay. So now I am on a new page. We're into the yoke part. Woohoo! I'm going to try to stay on long enough if y'all want to hang with me. Some people might have to take off. I get that. I don't think I can get through the whole yoke because, we like trying to keep track of actual how much time I'm using on working on this, but I can do some of those fun pull-up rows, I think. But this says 30 stitches should take me to a German short row. And then 14 to the middle marker. I'm more just gonna like pay attention to when I hit that funky last German short row that I have to resolve. But this section's my favorite section. I gotta say, all of the fun, the pull-up rows and the lace section and everything else like that. Oh, Pamela, thanks for placing an order. Yeah, we love to be able to offer a discount, and it's on my online shop for today, what the code is and everything for Cyber Monday. It's part of our, this weekend is one that we hope will be a nice boost to the shop because it's the beginning of the holiday season and all those kind of fun things. And I can't believe it's already December. It's really crazy. So it feels really, really wonky. Okay, so I came up to this one looks weird and it feels weird and it's my short row. And so I'm going to knit through the center of what feels like overlapping stitches and then check the next one feels funny, but I think it's just tight because of the short row. But that means at this point, when I hit the big yellow marker in the center, I can just take it out. And it won't be long before I can put this on a longer cord. I'm just not totally sure. I don't want to do that when I'm not sure. Okay, don't need this guy anymore because those short rows are done. Like this might stretch out onto the other needles, but onto this, let me check. Okay, this is how I check length of things. I have learned working in the shop long enough that if I put something in my hand, a cord, if it goes to my elbow-ish, it's 24 inches. If it goes to my collarbone, it is 32 inches. And if it goes to my other shoulder, it's 40 inches. For the US measurements of things. I know the centimeters are a little different. So it's got the wrong tips on it right now, but this is a cord to make a 32 inch. And I want to say this isn't big enough yet to go onto my 32 inch. I'm a big fan of if I have enough tips. Oh, Edith is coming in from Philadelphia. Awesome. If I have enough tips, I feel like I can get through the whole ranunculus on a 16 inch and a 32 inch because I can use them to do 2 circulars for the sleeves. Sometimes the sleeves you can just get done on the 16 inch, especially if you're doing short sleeves, you don't have to worry. If you're doing the shortest sleeve in the ranunculus, you're just doing a bind off. I find that really, oh, thank you so much, Deb. Thank you. It's really appreciated. I find the short sleeves, I find it drapes down and that's the style, but I like to have a little more structure to my sleeves, even if it's just putting some ribbing on in the end. But sometimes I can do that with a 16 inch because this is loose and drapey enough, which is really, really lovely. And okay, I'm almost back to, yeah. It's really great to see new faces or new names. I mean, I'm not seeing everybody's face, and to see returning names and monikers and stuff. It's really, really fun. It's why I like that I started doing this, because it's like I get to have company while I knit. It's really great. So I know there weren't a ton of questions or anything, but I'm just going to keep talking about what I'm doing, because it could answer some questions for some people. And like I said, I'm going to go a little over here because I'd like to at least do, I mean, if I can, we'll see. I don't know if I can do, oh, it's so good to have Mona here as well. I don't know if I can get all the way to the lace section. Like, I'm not going to do the lace section today, but I'd like to talk about a few of the pull-up sections in here, because some of them are similar and some of them are different. Yeah, a 3.75 is a US 5. And if you do that, just know that you're changing, you might be changing the drape and the fit quite a bit if you're using 3.75 instead of a 10. And so I would really just advise testing your gauge. If you want one that's not big and open, that's lovely. If oh, greetings from Bavaria. Oh, that's so awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm not at the flowers yet, but I want to try to do some of these pull-up rows before I sign off for today. So, or at least maybe the first one. Maybe I won't try to rush the talking about, because maybe that's a good thing for next time. But if you're going to do it on a 5 instead of a 10, it's more that it's not half the size of these, but it is going to change the like, you might want to go to a really big size. Deb, Elsa's wondering how to donate some money, and I'm not sure. In the chat there might be like a little dollar sign next to the where you can chat, and that might be how you can contribute if you want to. That's how I see it on a laptop too. I don't know how it works on, you can always do a donation in our online shop, but if you want to donate here, it should be one of the options. Instead of a reaction, you can also, there's a little dollar sign. And that's all I know about that. But, oh, I just squirreled. What was it? Oh, the 3.75 millimeter needles. So it definitely figure out, like, what I like to do with what I call magic math is and okay, I'm at the beginning of round marker, so I can do this little thing in just a second. Is the section, if you're doing it on a 3.75 and you're not sure what is going to happen, it is a US 5, yes. And what I do is to figure out which size to make is I go to where it says divide for body and sleeves. And at some point, it's going to tell you how many stitches you now have on your needle. So long sleeves or short sleeves, at the bottom on page 10, at the bottom, it's going to say how many stitches each size is going to have once you've separated. And that is the magic number to use, whatever gauge you're getting. So do a gauge swatch. And with your size 5 needles, your 3.75 millimeter needles, do a gauge swatch with some of your yarn. Like, I know if you're using scrappy, if it's all roughly the same thickness, then you want to find out how many stitches per inch or centimeter, depending on what is your best way to logically think through in your head. You want to divide that total number of stitches, like 204, by what you're getting per inch or what you're getting per centimeter. And that's going to tell you how much it's going to shift on those needles. So like 204 stitches, if I'm looking back, I want to say the gauge is supposed to be like 16 for 4. I'm trying to find it now. This is why I'm going to stay on a couple minutes longer. So, 14 stitches by 20 rows is 10 centimeters. Let's say, I mean, so that's like 1.4 stitches per centimeter. So that might be a little tough to do, but for my brain works better in inches. Um, and and so if if I'm getting 14, that is let's see, 3.5 stitches per inch. So I need to do the math on that to see, like I'm going to take this 204 size 204 stitches, 204 divided by 3.5. That's how many stitches per inch. Okay, that just did it wrong. 204 divided by, it took another really random number, 3.5. That's like 58 inches around. Remember, this is supposed to have tons of positive ease. And so if I'm doing it on the size 5 needle, let's say I'm not getting 3.5 stitches per inch. I'm getting 5 stitches per inch because it's a much smaller needle. So if I take the 204, I should be able to do this roughly in my head, but I'm going to use the calculator because I'm talking. So instead of 58 stitches, thank you, Donna. That is really lovely. I really appreciate y'all supporting me. Absolutely. But if, say, with my smaller needles, I'm getting 5 stitches to the inch instead of 3.5. If I divide that, that's 40 inches around. So I've taken something that that should, like, that I think should come out 58 inches around the bust. So that, for me, that would be a good 10 inches of positive ease. And it's coming out 40 inches. It's going to be like, fit me, like it's going to have negative ease, and it's going to suck onto me. Right. So that's something. And that's, going way back in this chat above all the conversation about donations, which are lovely. They're not necessary, but they really are appreciated because life is weird right now. But if you're doing, so Jan creates, so Jan, if you're doing it on a 3.75, I would really test your gauge. Either make a huge size and just say whatever happens happens, because it won't come out huge, or do a swatch and measure and find those numbers at the bottom of page 10 and do a little bit of math to make sure that you're doing something. Like, you don't have to pick that size. If you're where I am, you don't have to do that size. Pick a size, words. You don't have to pick a size until you get past where I am. Like, you can get all the way through the yoke section and not pick a size and just see how it's going. Like, that could be, the collar might be kind of tight. I've had people who it won't be tight in the end, but people trying to cast on those 60 stitches and connect them, even on the size 10 needles, have issues sometimes. So you may want to, what some people do is just cast on 90 stitches. And then they don't increase at the end of the ribbing because they're already at their 90 stitches. But so just, be ready to engage with the uncertainty, or try testing so it's a little less uncertain, is what I would mention for that. Because if you do want it to be form-fitting instead of oversized, pick a size that's going to have less positive ease. Absolutely. I like doing ranunculi so they're really drapey. And people think, okay, if it's big, if it's got 10 inches of positive ease, is gonna like fit funky, or I'm gonna feel huge. It's gonna swallow me whole. I find if you use a thinner fabric, a thinner yarn, it's really drapey and nice. You don't have to go as thin as some of those cover photos. And I missed, Annette, ranunculus number 6. I knew that comment was in there, and I wanted to see what you said. And number 7 as a card. Oh, you did a cardigan one. That's fun. And so I saw that you're from Bavaria. That's very, very cool. And Amy wants to do a short sleeve on her first go round. And short sleeve is the easiest. If it's going by her short sleeve, you're just binding off at sleeve separation. It's a great way to just like keep going and be done when you hit the torso and not have to do anything else, like anything else complicated, not complicated, but any added things afterwards. And then you decide if you like that look or if you want a different look, and then you can start playing around with it, which I think is really fun. So I'm going to stay on a couple more minutes because I just got to the yoke section, and I want to talk about round 2 just a little bit, like this series that's happening before. Okay, so you've done a swatch. The math is okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, yeah, no, if you figured out some of this already, I guess that was more of a general conversation for everybody then. But yes, it's one of those making sure you're not surprised by, well, I did it with these needles and it doesn't fit. What happened? So awesome. No, that's fantastic. This is one of the few sweaters I don't test my gauge on and just figure I'm going so big. Like, again, I haven't picked a size yet. I totally haven't picked a size yet. Because like I'm going to figure that out probably in a month or two. But so this next section, before you do even get to the flowers, is inserting the RHN, the right hand needle. So I just wanted to, I guess it kind of makes sense to do that as a separate video, but I can do one row of it now, and then I can come back to it and talk about it next time, because next time we meet, I'm going away between Christmas and New Year's. But I think I should be back in time for January 5th is the first Monday next month. And I'm planning on getting home the 2nd or the 3rd. So I know it's going to be next year already. It's so crazy. Okay. So I just knit one, and then this is going to be weird because you're seeing it from the back side. I have videos from the top down, right? So insert the right hand needle from the front between the 2nd and 3rd stitches on the left hand needle, LHN, and draw through a loop to create a new stitch, knit 2. Okay, so I have to count from here, 1, 2, 3. And so between the 2nd and the 3rd is right there. And it's inserting the needle between the 2nd and the 3rd stitch. The draw up a loop thing is I wrap my yarn around like I'm knitting, and I just pull it back through, and it's all loosey-goosey in the front. It's totally fine to have these be loosey-goosey. But here's what happens is if you, I have to keep looking down at my instructions. If you pull that up and then you knit 2, 1 and 2, you're at the hole you just created by pulling up a loop. Now, here's the thing a lot of people can mess up on is, or then at the end, they're like, why didn't this work? Is the repeat. At this point, you can go back to the beginning of the repeat, and the repeat isn't the inserting the right hand needle, it's knit 1. So you knit 1 past that. And then you have to do the same thing where you are counting 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put my needle between the 2nd and the 3rd loop. I really can't show you that very well on here. And I wrap around and pull up a loop. And at this point, it's you knit 2, that takes you to the gap, but then you have to knit 1 more. So what it looks like on the front, can't look over this a little bit. You're going to have a single stitch between these pull-ups. And I just want to explain that. So I've done my 1 more. So I'm going to go between the 2nd and the 3rd on my left hand needle. Whoop. And sometimes it wants to fall off and you got to do it again. So I pulled up a loop. I'm knitting 2, and then I need to knit 1 more. So I kind of go, okay, I'm pulling it up and I'm knitting 3. So I want to show you how this row works with the next row. So I pulled up a loop, I knit 2, I knit 1 more, and then I look. This should work out that you end by pulling up a loop. Oh, I can't get these loops while I'm talking. I pull up a loop, and I knit 2, and then I knit 1 more. The 1 more is the beginning of the next repeat. So if all goes to plan and you have the right number of stitches, you end up, your last pull up should be right at the stitch marker, and you knit 2 to the stitch marker. So let's see if I can do this and talk at the same time. And then next time, like, I'm going to at least show you the start of how the next row works in conjunction with this. And I'm having to do this pull up like every, they're not all going smoothly, let me just say. So, the next row, it should work around that you're knitting, the knit 2 together has to join a pull up with something else. And sorry, people are trying to call me. They need to go away. Usually it's telemarketers. Okay. And yep. Okay. So I am maybe halfway around now. So I pull up, I knit 2. When I do that pull up, and then I knit 1 more. When I do that pull up, I really try to keep it nice and loose. Like, I let my finger that holds tension just kind of relax, because it doesn't need to be crazy tight. And let's see if I can get, oop, I got furry stuff stuck to my nail there. Let's see if I can get around and show you. Like, we're going to have to factor that most of this, when we do our calculations at the end for like, how much time did you spend? I'm going to try to mark down. I think there was at least 1 hour and a half and 1 hour, and then this is going to be closer to 1 hour and a half. So we could probably average that most of the time I'm going to be on here for like 1 hour and a half, because an hour is really short. And sometimes I'm a little tired, and so that's okay. But I don't mind hanging out with you a little longer if I can. And we're going to see when I get to the end if I have been remembering to do that extra one this whole time while I'm chatting with you. Because, maybe not. I won't leave you on a cliffhanger. I'm at least going to finish this row. And sometimes when I'm going between the second and third stitch, it wants to split that second stitch. And I don't think it's going to be the end of the world if it does. But it's probably going to be a little cleaner if, instead of like this right here, I'm going through the second stitch, I want to go completely between the second and third stitch. That just will have the pull part of it will pull a little different than if I went through the middle of a stitch. So, okay, I'm going to keep going here. And I'm not really getting super stressed out if the pull-up stitch, my pull-ups, I feel like I'm being potty trained. If the pull-up stitches are even to each other, it's okay. They will kind of loosey-goosey settle over time. So I am not, and I'm using my thumb here to make sure that the stitches I'm pulling up between don't fall off the needle. So there's no reason to go through these quickly. So let's see. I see my tail, so I know I'm getting close. Yeah. I love Deb's brain went to the same spot. The pull-ups are a brand of training diaper here in the US. So yeah, I think they're by Huggies. So every time I say pull-ups, I think of like, I'm a big kid now or something. No, it's okay. I thought the same thing. So it's all good. All right, I'm getting closer. Let's see. And if I'm off, I may decide to just fudge it. It's more evidence that we're not perfect, but I'm getting close here. But I find when you get into this rhythm, especially if you're like knit 2 and then knit 1 more, or your brain might be saying knit 3. You get to the end and you're like, wait, I'm off. And sometimes you're not off. So pull up. Yes, those pull-ups now. Pull through, we could say. draw through a loop. So there's my draw through, and 1, 2, one more. I might be off, and we decide if I go back and fix it or not. So nope, I'm not. So okay, I started to freak because I have 3 stitches left, but I just did my 2, and that means I start my repeat by knitting 1 more, and then I've got between the second and the third stitch. The second stitch is the end of the row. The third stitch is the start of the next row. I'm still going to do a pull through there and knit 2 more. Okay, now I'm at the end of the row. So that was round 2. And if you count the loops as stitches, you're up to 120 stitches on here. Yeah, we're all going to have, Deb said we're all going to have ads for pull-ups in our like Facebook feeds and stuff. It's very true. Okay, so the next row, just so you can see how this all fits together. So we've got 120 stitches, but that doesn't mean that suddenly this thing is huge. We're going to go back to the 90 stitches because it is the round 3 says knit 2 together, knit 2. So the knit 2 together is that knit 1 from the beginning, and then it's the pull through that we did. Is the pull through, that one is getting knit with the knit 1, and then it says to knit 2. Those are those 2 that you did. So after your pull through. So let's see. And what I have to be careful of here is this is my knit 1 here, but my pull through has floated. My pull through, I need to, and I can't see what I'm doing on your end. I'm just looking at it from the back. I need to make sure. What I tend to do is I look for, I will grab the pull up. I'm just going to call it a pull up. It'll come out of this hole and go over. And sometimes what that means, as I'm trying not to drop my stitches, is, and I think I did this in the video, it is like when your yarn jumps over the marker, is I have to straighten things out where I pull out the first stitch and I make sure that what I'm knitting together is that first stitch and the pull through stitch. And I don't know, I think I did that one right. Yeah. And then I'm knitting 2. And that takes me to the single stitch, and then we've got the pull up in there somewhere. And turning things forward and backward is not having fun. But what I do, and I can just do this from my side, is I'll take the pull through stitch and make sure it is sitting up here with my single stitch and put them together. And I can't really turn this around and show you all that because I'm going to have stuff fall off the needle. But from the back, my pull through is right here. And my single stitches, they're next to each other on the back, but on the front, I do have to make sure the front crossover is kind of cleanly separated from those 2 stitches that I knit. So I'm knitting together the knit 1 and the pull through, and then I'm knitting the 2 stitches from the previous row. And I have to really get the right side. I got to yank it over, knit them together, and do the 2. But that's really what should be happening on this next row, is your front part of it, once you straighten it out, the pull through and the knit 1 get combined together. And I have to sometimes do that the whole way across, is I yank with my needle, I yank it over, and then get my right hand needle in those 2 stitches, and then knit 2. And so I'm going to come over here, and I might have to look at the back side to see which one's crossing over, and let's get them straightened out. And that just makes it look so much prettier on the front when you do that. So I'm finding the right side of that pull through is either all the way over past those 2 stitches, or it's sitting in the middle somewhere. And each one, as I come to it, I'm just kind of helping it find its position. The back side might be fine, but the front side, I've got to get those next to each other and then knit them together. Because the back side of these 2 stitches is totally fine. But the front side, I have to make sure I'm catching it correctly. And especially when you're pushing yarn around this circular needle, they're definitely going to want to jump. So I'm pulling that right side. The front part of it wants to hunker way over to the left, is what I'm finding. And I'm sure I did this in the videos when I was showing you in the videos, because this is what I have to do every time. I just haven't done one of these in a while. So I'm making sure it's the one that crosses that I am combining together. And yeah, this is, I really should keep a log of this. I have a new journal from Twice Sheared Sheep for projects. I really should have a notes section where I'm keeping track of the days I do only an hour and the days where I do an hour and a half. And so I can keep track of, considering I'm also squirreling and talking, how long it takes me to make this sweater. So at some point, I'm going to get to the more mindless sections where we can just more hang and I don't have to count, but I am just, so the knit 2 together, knit 2, every time I hit a knit 2 together, and whoop, my yarn just fell off the table. I will catch that later, because I like to, before 4:30, get around to the beginning of round marker. So, and then y'all can keep track with me of where I am on this, but I'll show y'all how it's going. I think it'll be a good place to stop once I finish. This is round 3. And she even says in this, I think, the knit 2 together means the knit the first stitch and the loop together. And sometimes it just takes a little bit to make sure you've really got the loop where it should be. I'm doing that every 3rd stitch though here. I'm pulling it over to make sure it's in the right spot. And it, you know what? If it messes up, it messes up. It's not the end of the world. So let me see how I get on here. And what we can talk about in January is how the next set is a little bit, actually I get to do an increase round after this, but the next time, how they, even with the increases, the increases and the pull-ups will be a little different. And yes, I'm just gonna, I should do a little drawing of you, not me, but just, generic wearing a pull-up. So anyway, I'm almost to the marker. All right, so the last, okay, here we go. I got like 2 more of these left. Oh, Stephanie, yay. Yes, she sees why people do multiples of these now, and different material, like, and going back to different things. Yes, it's wonderful. Okay, I finished the row. It all went very, very well. I am knitting 2 because the next instruction happens after you knit 2 on the next row. So it's kind of hard to see, but once I get a few more increases in, I can put this on bigger needles. But I think you can see a little bit of that pull-up row right there and how it looks. And let's see if I can. Yes, it's being on bigger needles and it goes really nicely. So there's that pull-up row where it's regularly. Part of remembering to have that extra stitch in there is what makes things line up nicely on the next row, is that extra knit 1, doing the pull through, knit 2, knit 1, because that knit 1 on the next row gets combined with the pull through, and the knit 2 just stay where they are, and they doesn't go off kilter at all. It keeps everything nice and straight. So this is quite a bit more than last time. This is excellent. I think after at least one more increased row, well, the next increased row should take me to 120 stitches. By then, I think I might be able to put it on my 32-inch needles. So, Deb just said one of the spotlighted ranunculi is made with Inca, which she just ordered, which is this fingering weight chainette. That's kind of like shiny with alpaca fluffed into it. I hadn't thought about making one out of Inca. I've made a shawl with Inca. It's very cool. We'll have to check that out later. So, okay, just so we can all register this. Okay, so I think, let's see, this is my 3rd month knitting on it. And we did an hour and a half today. We've done an hour and a half before and an hour. So that's 4 hours so far. This is as far as I've gotten. But I'm making some good progress, right? And I'm chatting with y'all too. So it's not like I'm speed knitting and just furiously only concentrating on this. But this is still going to be really fun to see how long it takes. I am just to have it heard and witnessed. And I thank you for coming to spend time with me. It's really, really fun to do this. So I'm glad you enjoy it too. So just so it's heard and witnessed, yeah, it's true. But so Trescello just said it's the first hour was balling the yarn. It's true. Although it's almost like the sheep to shawl or sheep to sweater thing. It's like we do have to take into account that I started from a twist of yarn that needed to be hand balled. And that, if I could get it, hand balled. So that is an excellent point. So maybe it's only taken me like 2 hours, 3 hours. Anyway, neither here nor there. I am on page 8. I'm going to make a mark on this when I get off camera in the yoke section. And I am on round 4. It's the first increase section of the yoke section. Just in case I come on next time and go, where was I? Someone can tell me. So, so let's see what I have. Oh my gosh, it's trying to tell me to do all these different things. But it's been really lovely to hang with y'all. I am going to sign off and put this aside until January. It is not coming with me on vacation. It's with my family and stuff. And I will pick up exactly where I am right now on January 5th, I believe. That's the first Monday of the month. And we'll be here again from 3 to 4 p.m., maybe 4:30 on the Sun Dragon Tips and Tricks channel. I hope to do a couple of videos throughout the month, either just updating y'all. Maybe I'd love to try to wrap up my short circumference knitting tutorial series before the end of the year, and we'll just see. And I'll try to keep you all up to date on, I'd like to do some virtual sessions on reading charts and knitting and reading charts and crochet as 2 separate one-off Sundays. But I got to see what the schedule's like in January. January sometimes is slow, which means I'll have time for that. So we'll see. Love you all. We'll see you another time. And I'll catch you another not live time, but the next time I'll be live is January 5th. So bye. Happy holidays. Yes, Jan just put up a little Christmas tree. Happy every holiday to anyone who celebrates. Bye-bye.